Today we're gonna change the rear differential lubricant of F-150 2016. The first step is remove the filler plug. We need to do this first because if we remove the cap and then it turns out that this is a stock, we're gonna have a differential without oil and without the possibility to fill the differential. This plug also has a magnet that basically catch all the metallic particles that are floating around in the oil, so we must clean this one. There you go. Now we're gonna remove the wires and hoses that we have here. Those are attached with plastic clips, so let's just be careful that we don't break anything. Now it's time to remove the bolts. The thing is, it's good if we remove all of them with the exception of these two. I'm gonna lose them and keep them there because those are gonna help me to keep the cover here while the oil is draining out. I already removed all the bolts, and as I said before, I lose these two, but I'm gonna keep them here because those are gonna help me to keep the cap here while I'm draining the oil. Now with a pocket knife, we're gonna lose the cap, doing it from one side. Do it from, regardless which side, but from the sides. If you do that from the bottom, obviously you're gonna get tons of oil on your hands and on your tools as well. Now that we drained already some oil, now that this is open, basically all the oil at the top and the sides is, and from the gears is coming down. There is like a small pool here, as you can see. While this is happening, we're gonna clean all the seat of the cover. And for this, we would like to cover our gears or mechanism here. We don't want to have any kind of contamination inside of this. To clean all this thing, I would prefer to use manual tools rather than use pneumatic or electric tools. I mean, this is not a critical part like a head gasket, but I feel that it keeps better the surface and it's less likely that we're gonna have like an uneven surface in this seal. Okay, now that I finished to scratch this thing with the razor knife, I'm gonna use this pad just to scratch a little bit around. So with this I'm gonna get rid of all the remaining pieces of gasket, avoiding any possible damage. Okay, now we're gonna make the gasket using this product from the brand Permatex, which is special for this application. It's supposed that you don't need to apply sealing from the external side of the holes, but it's not gonna hurt. Okay, now we're gonna mount the cover, the pumpkin, and the idea now is we're gonna tighten the bolts only with the force of our hand. Then we need to hold on for an hour. After an hour, we're gonna torque the bolts. Okay, let's fix the cover. Maybe this cover doesn't look like the one that we removed, but it's the same. We just tune it up a little bit. If you want to know how, check the description below, there is a link. Okay, I finished to put back all the bolts using only the socket. What I did was one by one, I start to apply force only with my hand, not using a ratchet or something else. And basically what it kind of gonna let you know when it's enough at this point is when you start to see how the silicone start to come out, and then that's enough. Now I did, as I said, the same in every single bolt. Now we need to keep this thing as it is for 1 hour, and after 1 hour we're going to apply torque in each of them. Okay, an hour already passed, and now we're going to torque the bolts. The spec for this truck, an F-150 2016, according to the OEM manual, is 45 newtons or 33 foot-pounds. There is not a specific order to do this, but in my case what I'm gonna do is start with this one, and then this one, then this one, then this one. Once this is torque, I'm gonna go to the top part and then to the bottom. After we torque all the bolts, we need to hold on, in the ideal situation, full day, a full night. But if there is no chance or there is no time for that, as minimum we need to hold on for an hour. Okay, now it's time to pour the oil. In this case, for this truck, which is a F-150 2016, the user manual, it says that we need to use this grade, 75W85. However, in my understanding, the spec is changing, and also you can use the 75W140. Both will behave basically in the same way under a cold environment. The only difference will be when the pumpkin gets warm or hot. The oil will behave in a different way. If you want me to explain in more detail, just leave a few comments and I'll try to upload a video explaining in more detail the difference between this grade 7585 and the 75W140. We choose to use this grade because it's what the manual is suggesting. I will say it's okay as long as you're not towing anything or using truck in a heavy application or some kind of off-road activities. If you're towing or doing off-road, I will recommend to use the 75W140. You're gonna need 2.5 quarters. So if you have an open differential, this oil is enough. But if you have a limited slip differential, you need to add some friction modifier, which is something like this. Now, there are two easy ways in which you can understand what kind of differential do you have. One is leave the truck just in one of the rear tires, check that the transmission is in neutral, no parking brake, and then try to spin the tire. If spin in some way kind of freely, that means that you have an open differential. But if it doesn't, probably you have a limited slip differential, and then you need to add the friction modifier. Another way to know this is open the driver door and you will find a sticker, and in the sticker you will have a number assigned to your differential, which is something like this. Google that number and most likely you will figure out what kind of differential you have. Okay, now it's time to pour the oil. In this case I'm gonna use a transfer pump like this one. It's not really needed. You can also just cut the nipple here and then just pour the oil inside of it. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 liters first, and I'll keep the video when I start to pour the last, or pumping is okay regarding oil, once we start to have oil coming out from here. Okay, the pumping already has 2 liters. I am pumping now the last one. Okay, it's time to put back our nut plug. I'm gonna add some high temperature thread sealant. Okay, the torque to apply here is 38 foot-pound or 51 newtons meter. Now we're gonna clean here and here to avoid any misunderstanding regarding any leak or something. Now let's go ahead and place back all these lines. basically that will be the last step. Thank you.